Stop, right here. Don't move past this. You didn't find this by accident. You didn't scroll to this moment because you were bored. Something deeper than habit brought you here, and if you leave before this is finished, you will not fully understand what just passed you by. I am not asking for your time. I am asking for 30 minutes of your full attention. Not split attention, not background noise while you do something else. 30 minutes of you present, open, and willing to hear what has been held back until now, because what is being revealed in this message is not general. It is not for everyone watching. It is for the ones who feel something shift the moment they begin to listen. If that is you, and you will know within the next few minutes, whether it is then what follows will change the shape of what comes next in your life. Most people will scroll past this. Most people will tell themselves they will come back to it later. Most of them will not, and most of them 3 months from now will be standing in the same place they are standing today, wondering why things still haven't moved, why the breakthrough they felt was near never fully arrived. They will not connect that moment of walking away to what followed, but you will, because you are still here, and that matters more than you know. Stay with this. Give it your complete presence. What is coming will not land on a scattered heart, but in a focused, open, ready one. It will land with extraordinary weight, and it will not leave. There have been moments in your life that you could not explain. A decision you made that defied logic, and it turned out to be exactly right. A door that closed violently, and you mourned it only to discover later that what was behind it would have derailed everything. A person who appeared at the exact moment you were running out of options. A thought that came to you in the middle of the night and would not let you rest until you paid attention to it. You called those things coincidence because that was the language available to you. But deep down, something else always whispered. Something quieter and more certain than reason. A sense that you were not wandering through your own life randomly, that there was a hand on things you could not see touching. That sense was not confusion. It was recognition. And it is the same recognition that brought you here today. You have been in preparation, not punishment, not abandonment, preparation. There is an important difference, and the season you have been walking through depended on you eventually understanding it. The silence you experienced was not absence. The waiting was not wasted. Every delay that felt like a closed door was a redirection, not a rejection. Every breaking point that felt like the end was actually the precise location where something necessary was being built inside you. What is beginning now, what has already begun, did not start today. It started long before you knew to look for it. You were being prepared to carry what is coming, and that is not a small thing. There is a story most people know but rarely stop to feel. Joseph was 17 years old when he was thrown into a pit by the same brothers who were supposed to protect him. He was sold into slavery in a foreign country where no one knew his name or his God. He served faithfully and was falsely accused. He was imprisoned, forgotten by a man he helped, overlooked by the system, and passed over for years. From the outside, by every visible measurement, Joseph's story looked like a long accumulation of failure and injustice. Nothing about his circumstances suggested a future of greatness. Nothing in his daily reality pointed toward purpose. And yet, within a single 24-hour period, everything changed. He was taken from prison, brought before Pharaoh, given authority over all of Egypt, and positioned to save millions of lives, including the very family that had betrayed him, not gradually, not incrementally, suddenly. 13 years of unseen formation. One day of visible transformation. This is how divine timing operates. It does not move on a schedule that human eyes can track. It moves on a different kind of precision entirely. Beneath every season that felt dormant, movement was happening. Behind every door that stayed closed, arrangement was taking place. Joseph could not have governed Egypt without the wisdom learned through suffering. He could not have forgiven his brothers without the years that pressed bitterness out of him. He could not have recognized the moment of his elevation if he had not been sharpened by the long dark years before it. The preparation was not separate from the purpose. The preparation was the purpose taking shape, and this is exactly where you have been. Think honestly about what you have survived. Not the victories, the real weight, the season where you were not sure you could keep going, the relationship that collapsed and left you questioning your own judgment, the loss you still carry in places no one else sees, the version of yourself you had to grieve when that chapter closed without warning. You survived all of it. Not because you were lucky, because something immense was placed inside you long before any of it began. What tried to destroy you was permitted to press against you because it could not get through. You were being tempered, not punished, pressed, not abandoned. Every fire you walked through was watched with intention, and the evidence of that watching is the fact that you are still standing. Look at Job, who lost everything in a single season. His possessions, his children, his health. His friends offered explanations that sounded religious, but were hollow. And Job held on not because the circumstances improved, but because something inside him recognized that the story was not finished. When the moment arrived, restoration came doubled, not because Job earned it through suffering, but because suffering had expanded his capacity to receive without being consumed. Your suffering has done the same work in you. Expansion has happened. Depth has formed. Strength that did not exist before has been carved into you by what you endured. And what is coming requires exactly that kind of strength. There is something I need you to understand about timing. There is a moment in every process where the conditions align, where the preparation meets the invitation, where what has been arranged beneath the surface becomes accessible from above. This window is not permanent. It is specific, and it is open right now. This is not pressure for its own sake. This is honesty. You have missed windows before, not because you were unworthy, but because distraction is the single most effective enemy of breakthrough. The voice that tells you to check this later, to come back to it when life quiets down, to wait until you feel more ready. That voice has cost you before. You can feel the truth of that if you sit with it for a moment. There were moments in your past that you sensed were significant, and you let them close, not out of rebellion, out of hesitation. You do not have to repeat that pattern today. The widow in Scripture had 1 jar of oil remaining. Elisha told her to gather every empty vessel she could find and begin pouring. The instruction made no logical sense. 1 jar cannot fill many, and yet she moved in obedience anyway. And the oil did not stop flowing until she ran out of vessels to receive it. The miracle was not limited by the supply. It was limited by her preparation. How many vessels have you prepared? How open are you right now to receiving what has been held in reserve for this season? Because what is available to you in this moment is not scarce. What is scarce is the window in which you can access it with full clarity, and that window is open. Right now, in this breath, while you are present and listening and willing, distraction has had its season. Doubt has had its season. Postponement has had its season. This season belongs to something else entirely. The word chosen carries weight that most people never fully explore. It does not mean elevated above others in pride or position. It does not mean your path will be easier than those around you. It does not mean you are better or more deserving. Chosen means called awake. Chosen means entrusted. Esther was chosen, but chosen meant standing before a king she was not summoned to approach, risking her life for a people who needed her voice more than she needed her comfort. The moment of choosing was the most terrifying decision of her life. She had to be reminded that perhaps she had arrived at her position precisely for such a moment as that one, for such a moment as this one. Your life, with every fracture, every unexpected redirection, has been moving toward a convergence. The pieces you thought were scattered were never random. They were being positioned. What looked like disorder on the surface was governed by precision beneath it. The skills developed through your hardest seasons, the discernment earned through experiences that hurt to carry, the compassion forged through your own loss. None of it was wasted, all of it was necessary, because what has been prepared for you does not only belong to you, it passes through you. The blessing approaching your life is designed to move through your hands, your words, your presence, and into the lives of people who are still in the middle of their breaking season. You were chosen for this, not despite your history, through it. Here is the truth that separates those who receive from those who remain waiting indefinitely. The door does not open before the decision. It opens because of the decision. Joshua stood at the edge of the Jordan River at flood stage. The water was not passable. No bridge existed. The way forward was not visible. And the instruction was not to wait for the river to recede. The instruction was to step in. The priests carrying the ark stepped into the water, and the river stopped. Not before, after, the wall of Jericho did not fall on the 6th day of marching. It did not fall mid-morning on the 7th day. It did not fall when it seemed most logical or most imminent. It fell at the sound of unified forward movement, after 7 days of doing something that appeared to make no visible progress. This is the pattern. This has always been the pattern. Movement precedes miracle. Readiness precedes provision. Decision precedes access. The door standing in front of you will not open while you are still deliberating whether to approach it. It will not open while you are reviewing your list of reasons why this might not be the right time, why you might not be the right person, why the conditions are not quite aligned enough yet. The conditions will never feel perfectly aligned from where you are standing. They never have for anyone who walked through a doorway that changed their life. Noah built before rain. Abraham left before he knew where he was going. The disciples stepped out of the boat before they understood what they were stepping into. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a posture, and the posture of readiness is leaning forward, not pulling back. There are 3 words that carry disproportionate weight. Not because they are magic, not because they trigger a formula, but because when they are spoken from a place of genuine inner alignment, they signal something. They signal that the internal war between readiness and hesitation has been settled. And when that war is settled, when the spirit and the will move in the same direction at the same time, access changes. The words are simple: I am ready. Not I will be ready when, not I am almost ready. Not I would be ready if the circumstances were different. I am ready, present tense, here, now, in this breath, with this life, in this season. As this person, say it where you are. Say it quietly if people are around you. Say it out loud if you are alone. Let the words leave your internal world and enter the actual air of the actual moment you are inhabiting right now, because something shifts when you do. Not emotionally, spiritually. The internal alignment between what you believe and what you declare creates a kind of gravity. Things begin to move toward you that could not reach you before, not because you earned it by speaking, but because consent has been given, because participation has been chosen, because you have stepped out of the posture of spectator and into the posture of someone actively engaged with their own becoming. Speak it again if you need to. I am ready. Feel what changes in your chest when you mean it. That change is not imagination. That is the beginning of the motion. The circumstances around you have not changed yet. The situation that has you stretched thin is still present. But beneath the surface, things have been moving. People have been positioned. Doors have been loosened. Situations that appeared permanently fixed have been quietly undermined. What you are about to see is not creation from nothing. It is the revealing of what was already being built in the unseen, while you were fighting to hold on in the visible. Favor does not always arrive gently. Sometimes it arrives as a sudden shift, a conversation that opens a door you had stopped trying to open. A need met through a path logic could not have predicted. A situation pressing against you from all sides, suddenly releasing with no explanation other than timing being complete. This is what harvest looks like, not slow accumulation, but sudden fullness arriving after patient investment. The field matures quietly and then breaks open all at once. Your field has been maturing. Do not shrink your expectation now. What is approaching has not been calculating what is reasonable. It has been calculating what is necessary for your purpose, your calling, and the people whose lives flow through yours. Hope is waking back up. Let it. There is a moment in the story of the prodigal son that rarely receives enough attention. The father saw the son while he was still a long way off, which means the father had been watching the road regularly with intention. The grace that met the son at his return was not improvised. The feast, the ring, the robe, it was all prepared and waiting. What was missing was not provision. What was missing was the son's decision to move. He sat in the field rehearsing his return, planning his words, working out his arguments. And while he rehearsed, the feast sat prepared. While he delayed, the father watched the road. Grace was not waiting for him to earn his way back. It was waiting for him to turn around and walk. The moment he moved, Grace ran to meet him. This is the picture of what has been waiting for you. The delay has not been on heaven's side. The preparation is complete. What remains is the turn, the movement. The decision to walk forward rather than remain in the field of almost. Almost is not a destination. Almost is where people live when they are one step from receiving and do not take it. You have been almost long enough. The field you have been sitting in, filled with reasonable explanations for why now is not quite right, why you are not quite ready. That field is not neutral ground. It is where prepared blessings go unclaimed, where timing passes, where momentum slowly dissipates because activation never came. You are being called back into motion. Turn around. Walk forward. Let grace run to meet you. Your breakthrough is not only for you. Sit with that, because it changes how you approach this threshold. Think of the widow of Zarephath who shared her last meal with Elijah. The multiplication did not stop with Elijah. It passed through her act of obedience and returned to fill her and her son for the entire length of the drought. The blessing moved through her willingness, not around it. There are people in your life watching you right now, some quietly from a distance, wondering whether faith is worth holding on to. They are looking at your life for evidence, not because they are critics, because they are searching. Your breakthrough will answer a question they have not been able to ask out loud. They know what you walked through. They were watching when it looked impossible, and they will remember that when they need to believe it is possible for them. This is why your response to this moment matters beyond what you can measure right now. You are not stepping forward only for yourself. Rise now not only because you were made for this, but because others are waiting for the evidence. When alignment takes hold, things do not move gradually. They accelerate. The years of formation feel impossibly slow. The moment of transition feels impossibly fast. And then, suddenly, you are standing inside outcomes that took years to build and moments to arrive. Doors do not open one by one. They open in sequence, one triggering the next. The way a single lock releases an entire mechanism. People will appear who seem to arrive with exactly what you needed, without explanation for how they knew. Conversations will open avenues you were not even pursuing. And when you look back at the timing of it all, you will see the precision. You will understand why every delay was actually protection, why every redirection was actually navigation, why every season of silence was actually construction. Nothing will have been wasted, not the tears, not the years, not the prayers that felt like they disappeared into silence, not the faithfulness you maintained when nothing visible rewarded it. All of it was seen, all of it counted, all of it contributed to what is about to be revealed. The acceleration is beginning. Stay open, stay alert, stay grateful. Because gratitude is not only a response to what has arrived, it is the posture that keeps you positioned to receive what is still coming. Before we close, if you are willing, let this be more than words you hear. Let this be a declaration that you make alongside these words. Let this be the moment that the internal agreement becomes external, the moment the readiness leaves thought and enters reality. Pray this with me. Heavenly Father, I come before you in this moment, not as someone who has it all together, not as someone who has always been faithful, not as someone who never doubted or wandered or sat too long in the field of almost. I come as someone who is still here, still seeking, still willing. You have been guiding me through seasons I did not fully understand, shaping me through experiences I did not choose, building in me a capacity I could not have developed any other way. I did not always recognize your hand in it. I did not always trust the process while I was inside it. But I am beginning to understand now that your timing was never random, that the preparation was never punishment, that the waiting was never abandonment. Today I choose to believe that. I quiet every distraction that has pulled at my attention. I release every argument my doubt has rehearsed against the possibility of breakthrough. I lay down the burden of having to understand before I can trust. And I say with everything in me that is willing, yes. Yes to what you have been preparing. Yes to what you are revealing. Yes to the calling that has been stirring in me beneath layers of doubt and delay and fear of getting it wrong. Remove the hesitation that has kept me small. Replace my uncertainty with your truth. Let your presence become my confidence where my own has been insufficient. I open my heart. I open my future. I open my next steps. And I declare in this breath, in this moment, in this life, I am ready, ready to move, ready to receive, ready to walk into what has been prepared, ready to carry what you have placed in me outward into the world that needs it. Let what has been waiting now begin to move, in every area, all at once. In your name, I step forward, amen. Stirred something in you. If this message reached the quiet places in you that you rarely open to anyone, I want you to mark this moment. Go to the comments right now and write, I am ready. Add your city and country if you feel called to. Let this be a declaration, not a performance for others, a seal on what was spoken in this moment between you and what is greater than you. There is something powerful about a community of people from different places, different backgrounds, different breaking points, all declaring the same readiness in the same space at the same moment. Read the comments, see the names, see the cities. You are not alone in this turning point. If this message found you at the right time, if it arrived when you needed it, most share it with one person. You know exactly who came to mind while you were listening. The one who is still sitting in the field of almost. The one whose hope has gone quiet. The one who needs to know that the door is still open. Send it to them. You might be the reason they don't miss their window. And subscribe to this channel. Turn on notifications. Because what is being built here is not content. It is a stream of messages specifically for people in the season you are in. People who are close, people who are ready, people who are willing to stay present long enough to receive what has been prepared. The next video on your screen right now continues what was begun here. It goes deeper into what breakthrough looks like when it arrives, how to recognize it, how to move with it, and how to remain aligned through it. Don't close this. Watch it now while the readiness is alive in you, because what is coming will not only change your path, it will change everything that flows from it. You were made for this moment, and this moment was made for you. Stay, receive, rise.